Just give me a second. Hey, what's up? What's up? What's up, y'all? It's me coming at you again with another live hangout vid. This is your host, Dan the Man Boxing with Alien S. Behind the Kayfabe is back with another episode 4. Today, we're going to go through a lot of stuff or tonight, I should say, or this evening. Forgive me, y'all. It's been a long day. So we're going to go over a lot of stuff. We're going to go over a lot of news and updates, some interesting news and updates, and particularly potentially breaking news that just came out earlier today. We're going to go over that. We're going to go over a Smackdown Raw review, and we're also going to go over some interesting stuff about Alberto Del Rio. We're going to go over CM Punk, many others, a lot of stuff in Leo Rush. We have an update on that as well. And of course, John Cena. In case many people haven't heard, there's some interesting news about John Cena that's came out as well. So, Elias, how you doing, brother?
How's it going, Daniel MS? We're back. We're back live. We're back together for the show. We did some separate shows this past week, which didn't go too bad. But now we could kind of bounce off our ideas off each other. And you're listening to Beyond the Kayfabe Free for All. I don't know if Daniel changed the name yet, but Free for All Network on YouTube, on Google, whatever the hell it's on, guys. A lot of you aren't listening, as we can see from the stats, but you should be, because you're really missing out. How's it going, Dan?
Indeed. But don't worry, you guys can definitely comment and leave your thoughts in the comment section. Either right now in the live chat, or you could definitely do it after the live chat concludes. You can definitely leave the comments on the video, and we'll definitely respond to you. Okay. No,
Yeah.
no feelings will be hurt on that.
We're definitely,
So anyways,
Daniel here is our marketing person. He's going to respond to you.
Yeah, so any questions, concerns that you got, or any questions that you guys have or input, feel free to leave it in the live chat, like I said, or just leave it on the video after the live hangout concludes. Okay. Now.
Yeah. So you get us started, Daniel. How about you get us started tonight?
Yeah, let's talk about Jim Johnston, I should say. Now, for those of you who don't know who Jim Johnston is a longtime composer for the WWF, which is now WWE. He's been with the company for nearly 3 decades. He's the man who's responsible for the composition of the iconic the Ultimate Warrior's theme entrance, the Macho Man Randy Savage, which is the pomps and circumstances in a way. Hulk Hogan's
sure is.
Yep, the Real American theme, and the Undertaker's theme. He's transitioned that theme for many years, many times over. On and on. Many iconic things. Bret the Hitman Hart's iconic theme entrance. Shawn Michaels' iconic theme entrance. So he's done it all. And
all of them.
All the themes that we're accustomed to for all these years, he's done it all. And Jim Johnston is a guy who works behind the scene, and it's sad that he doesn't really get much credit for that. So it's sad to hear that he's left the company. There's not too much information on why he's left the company. All it has been reported according to the Pro Wrestling Sheet and F4W Online. Shout out to them. They spoken to several sources. They said that he's left the company on bad terms.
So why did he leave? Explain this to me.
Well, they don't have much information on it, but what they've reported so far is that, one, his contract expired with the company, so they let it run out. Two, according to the report, the release on his release is not on good terms. So there's definitely a lot of beef there, a lot of disagreement. I'm not sure how long it goes back to, but it seems like there's been a lot of tensions between Jim Johnston and the company for quite some time, which we're now discovering. So it's kind of unfortunate.
It's a shame. It's a shame. I mean, the guy's created such classic tunes. It's really part of the reason I like wrestling, and WWE in particular. They always had the better themes. Although the guy's kind of a musical genius. I mean, he had different people. He composed the music. He had different people sing in the background. In some cases, he actually had some of the wrestlers which some of them didn't. They sang their own songs. Some of them didn't turn out that great.
Right.
But still memorable. Still memorable. Shawn Michaels, for example, it turned out good. That's one of the ones that turned out good. His singing voice may not be good, but it's such a staple of the man. Even now that he's a completely different person from that character, it's such a staple of the
Right.
man. But The Rock's theme, that riff, Stone Cold's Breaking Glass. I mean, we could go on and on, really.
Oh
I
yeah.
mean, such iconic sound, but on the other side of the coin, uh, things have to move forward. Things always have to move forward. Things can't ever stay the same and stagnant. And eventually, somebody else has got to take the reins on the music, and hopefully, I do admit, I do want to admit that musically, I think the company's declined over the past few years
Yeah, it
with the
has. It
new themes
has.
they've had. They
Well, here's
reuse,
the thing though.
recycle. Yeah.
Yeah, it's recycled, but so to some degree, yeah. But what you may not have been aware, they've actually used two composers for the last 2 years, by the name of the composing duo by the name of CFL Dollar. They've actually been composing the things for like Randy Orton and those guys for last few years. You know, AJ Styles, Dean Ambrose, Seth Rollins, Jack Swagger, you name it. So the WWE's been transit. I think they've transitioned to them to use their composition style for the last 5 years now. And it seems like it was like for those within those 5 years, Jim Johnson's services has been hardly utilized, and I guess that caused a rift between him and the company. So he's like wondering what's going on here. I mean, you guys are using their work more than I. What's the deal? I thought we had a long term commitment with each other. I'm just assuming. I'm only speculating. This could be the tension that's been occurring now that we know now that that I now that that the CFO dollar sign has been composing for the WWE for the last 5 years now.
Hmm.
So yeah, so they're the guys who also were responsible for the theme music of Senshi Nakamura too,
That is a
for all
great
the
theme song.
NXT. Yeah, so they composed all the latest Stars Deep music, all of them, majority of them.
A majority of of course, he's not doing it all alone. Obviously, he's not
Yeah,
doing it all alone. But he's the main guy. He's been the main guy, and I'm sure that there was some bad blood because I don't think Vince. I mean, this guy's a lifer. I don't think Vince would have released him just for nothing. I mean,
right.
he's really kept that part of the musical part of Vince's empire going. He really has. Um, and I don't know why Vince would want to let go of something like that.
Well, you know what? It could be they're looking for someone who's more attuned into the current electorate, the current population. Not say population, the current audience. To the younger audience. Someone who knows how to make music that gravitates towards them. And the company decided to go a different route with CFL Dollar for the last few years now. So, and Jim just doesn't have the sound that could gravitate towards them. That's part of what this is all about. And I think again, it goes to the fact that
Well,
maybe Jim.
they can afford all types of sounds and to keep if they really wanted to keep Jim and use different sounds where they see fit, they could have done that too.
Yeah, that's a good point, and it comes down to the fact that there's monetary disputes involved. It could be a situation where Jim was promised a certain amount of dollars if he stayed with the company for a long term commitment, kind of like similar to what Vince did to Bret Hart. He got Bret Hart to agree to a 20-year contract worth over $3 million, and then Vince come back and say, "Well, you know what, Bret, I can't afford to pay you out the guarantee money that I promised you." It could
Well,
be that type of scenario where he brought
I
these two
think
guys in, CFO. He
Jim will
brought these
be
guys in because they're cheaper to,
yeah.
he wanted to pay them less. So it was cheaper to get their services. That's the reason why he brought them in.
I
And to
think
him,
Jim will
they
be
made. Sorry.
yeah. I think Jim will be all right. I mean, I'm pretty sure, and there are very few wrestling companies now around, but somebody's going to snatch him up.
Oh yeah, they're gonna snatch him up. Maybe Impact may snatch him up a little bit because they definitely need some composers over there. A good composer.
They actually had a few good theme songs for AJ Styles, Samoa Joe, pretty iconic theme songs.
No, I don't know. I don't know. If people kind of consider those theme music over in TNA, which is now Impact, iconic in a way. But
Jim Johnston, man, I can't believe he's gone. But honestly, like the Bludgeon Brothers, the song they had, I could have sworn it's a recycled theme from a video game they've had.
well, I don't know, man. Is CFO, are they responsible for that? Probably.
It just seems very generic. It just sounds very generic.
Mm.
I don't
Well,
know
I
if you've
mean,
seen their match this week, but just seems generic.
oh, at the end of the day, though, the company probably wouldn't get this far without his sounds and his creativity.
Oh
So,
yeah.
Jim, you know,
I mean, imagine
this is how
imagine
it is.
the Rock had a different song, or Bret Hart had a different song. It's just these songs are just so relatable to the characters that like for example, when Bret went to WCW, his song was not the same, and
Oh
he
yeah,
he just wasn't the same in general.
yeah. It's just that it didn't fit his persona. The theme songs they try to use, they use like three different. They tried to use three different things with Bret Hart. It just didn't fit with him. I mean, it just didn't couldn't go with them. Obviously, because of the licensing, the licensing issues, they couldn't get that original theme song. Maybe that's what he wanted. But obviously, WWE owns those rights to that theme song when he left. Same thing with the Ultimate Warrior when he went over to WCW. They just couldn't give him the right theme song. It
They
was
just
just,
couldn't
it
give
was
him.
just,
They couldn't give him the right anything.
yeah, they couldn't even do anything with the Warrior. That's a good point. I mean, Hulk Hogan,
Yeah.
yeah, when he came over there, yeah, they brought in a new guy to sing the lyrics and compose. They got a composer there. I mean, that kind of fit Hogan a little bit because it almost sounds almost like the American theme, real American. It almost sounds
Oh
almost like it.
yeah.
Only
Oh
difference
yeah.
is it was more on drums. So,
Oh yeah.
Macho Man Randy Savage, I mean, the pomp and circumstances, all they had to do was reboot it to more of a rockier sound of it when he went over there. I mean, the point is that you bring up a good point. Is like what Jim did is like he created sounds that actually fit the characters. He understood it. He
Oh
understood
yeah.
that's what he did, and that's why he gets that credit for it, making these iconic things, man. Because the Ultimate Warrior, dude, when you hear that theme song, is people just get psyched up and they get the adrenaline
Man,
rushing.
what about Chris Jericho's song? That just made him. I feel like that song, that video when he debuted and he
Break the
came
walls
over from
down.
WCW. Yeah, that just put him in a whole new light. He was a big star right off the get go. Right off the get go. That the theme music is so important.
Right, true, true. But the problem is now the question is that people are asking. Well, some people that I've talked to, they've asked, well, since he's gone, does that mean he gets to keep his master recordings? The answer is no. More than likely, he's not going to keep them because that
Oh
belongs to
yeah.
WWE.
Oh yeah.
However, however, he could still get some type of royalty base for those songs. I don't know.
Oh yeah, as long as they use these themes, and they
Well,
will.
we don't know that. Hopefully, he does, but it depends on what contracts he have signed. I don't know,
Yeah,
man.
I'm sure he has a good lawyer.
He has a good lawyer. It could be. Like I said, the reason why the fallouts occurred due to money disputes. It has to be a
Money
money
dispute.
dispute. It has to be some
Oh
type of
yeah.
monetary dispute. It could be where he is fighting over the fact that he's not gotten paid royalties over these things that he has
Well,
constantly reused on WWE programs on the network. Right? He's probably
mhm.
wondering why I'm not getting paid for that. No, that's my work
It's
that you
probably
guys are reusing.
he's
You know?
probably. I think.
Well, because you have
I
to
mean, I'm
understand
sure
too. That's why
money's
we
not
see.
an issue for them. Let's look at it that way. It
No,
really
it's
isn't.
not, but they're greedy at the same time because Vince don't like to
Yeah.
give people money. He
But
don't really like to give
maybe
people
it's
money.
also just time to move on to different
Right.
sounds.
Yeah, and what I was gonna say, yeah, that's kind of like how most superstars is, former or current superstars. I'm not saying current, maybe former WWE wrestlers. I don't want to say superstars, man. I'm trying to sound like I'm on the script now. The wrestlers,
WWE Universe.
Yeah. Oh my god, dude, that sounds so freaking corny, man. Seriously, I bet you most of the
No,
wrestlers
no.
who come out there and they get on the mic cutting the promo, they like they
Ah,
kind of cringeworthy to hear that. Hey, WWE Universe,
it's
get the fuck out
yeah.
of here, Vince. I know you, dude. You're out of touch, man. I'm sorry.
It's
Your
just
ideas
some
don't work
stuff
anymore. They're dried up.
written for them.
Well,
You know.
we'll talk about. Actually, that gives me an idea why I think SmackDown and Raw are Raw. I mean, SmackDown's killing Raw in the ratings. But I'll get to that in a second. But the fact is, though, I almost lost my point. The point is that WWE wrestlers. This is the reason why they have resentment toward WWE because there's so much stuff that's being played on the network, and they can't get no royalty money off of that. So that's why they're taking us to court on that. It's like, well, why are you not giving us royalty money? That's you're replaying our stuff on your network. You know, but Vince is probably saying, well, that's on the network. It's not on televised. It's not on televised program like cable or pay per view or something like that. So Vince can say,
Mhm.
well, you don't get no royalties because it's on my network. It's not on cable television. It's not on
Yeah.
regular programming.
Yeah. It's gonna be a
That's what.
dispute.
Yeah, I think that he lost that case. I'm not sure who. Somebody won that case or something like that over royalties. Someone sued him over royalties or something like that. I don't
Somebody
know who it
won.
was.
Yeah.
But I think this is one of the
Yeah.
reasons why Jim had this feud and left because he's probably felt that he's not getting royalty money from his for his work.
Mhm.
I'm just
Yeah.
assuming. I'm just assuming. We're only speculating right now. But again, what we do know is that he's left on bad terms.
Mhm.
But even so, though, man, let's just say this, man. In this business, you and I both know that you can never say never, right? Because
You
we all
never do.
remember Alondra Blaze, aka Medusa, right? What happened, that infamous moment she did where she appeared on WCW back in 1996, I think. She had
Mhm.
the women's WWF title, WWE title, and she threw it in the
Yeah.
trash can. Yeah,
Mhm.
people thought that she really blackballed herself for ever coming back to WWE.
Oh
But
yeah.
hey, 19 years later, she got into the Hall of Fame. She was very grateful. She was happy about it. She
Yeah. I
cried
think
on the
that's
way.
about how long it'll take CM Punk.
Yeah, but look. Here's the thing. She even said in the many shooting interviews. I think Vince saw this too. He's like, okay, you know what? I can't hold her at fault for what she did, But Vince is like, look, when she did some shooting interviews, she said, you know what? The reason why that angle was done because Eric Bischoff contacted her and asked her, hey, do you
Mhm.
still have that title? And she said, yeah, I still got it. The idea, I want to bring you to WCW, but this is what we're gonna do. They bring you in. So
Oh my gosh.
Bischoff wanted So it was Bischoff. He crafted the idea for her to go on live TV,
Mhm.
to throw that belt in the trash can just to humiliate the company for firing a current champion.
Yeah.
So that's why. And she was just there. She was there because she needed work because she was out of work. Vince cut her contract because he killed the women's division at that time until he brought it back in
Mhm.
'98. It became crap. But anyways, the bottom line is that never say never. Jim will probably come back. They'll probably put him to the Hall of Fame. I think they will, man. I think it probably won't take him that long for him to
I
come
mean, he was
over.
there for so long, 30 years. I don't think he'll come back, but he might get some recognition.
Yeah, I think so. I think so. He'll get some.
I don't know if he'll come back there.
Well, what I mean by come back, he'll get into the Hall of Fame. I don't think he's gonna work for them. They already got CFL dollar. They don't need him. I'm just being honest. They don't need him to compose anything. What I'm saying is, if they need to, they need to, if they want to be on good terms with the guy, at least do that. Put him into the Hall of Fame. Give him some type of consulting role, I guess, when it comes to composition. I don't know. They could do that.
Hmm.
Well, I don't know, man. He's gone right now. Let them decide what they're going to do with him, whatnot. So, yeah, well, we'll figure it out from there, man. We'll see where it goes.
Yeah, let's move
Uh,
on a little bit. What do you think about this John Cena news?
uh,
What really startles me is that, and if you guys don't know, you want to tell this whole thing, or should we assume that people know who
no,
are
let's
listening to
go through
this?
the whole thing. Let's read this and let people come to the conclusions if they're listening to this.
All right,
So,
I'll do it. I'll do it. He had a $500,000 car,
right,
and now, to my understanding, I guess Ford he had some kind of agreement with Ford that it's a like one of a collection, and it's rare, and he wouldn't sell it for at least for a certain period of time,
Yeah.
and uh, and then he did sell it, and what really confuses me, it's kind of startling actually, that he claims that it was to pay bills.
What?
Why would a guy who's made, yeah, why would a guy who's worth argue speculatively $50 million need to have a $500,000 car sold to pay bills?
Well, net worth is one thing, man. That's not exactly their actual amount that they have in their account. The net worth is based off of the total salaries they've made in within the last 2 years of
Yeah,
employment,
but
plus their credit card debt.
still,
Yeah,
he
yeah,
he
still
doesn't
though.
he. I would think that the guy's set for life and wouldn't need to sell a car, even if it's $500,000 to pay his bills.
Yeah, I agree. Something's not
It's
right there.
it's Nikki. It's Nikki. She's just she's sucking
Yeah,
him
I know.
dry.
That's kind of odd. I mean, is he really broke? Did he just burn all his money away, or is he paying
It
someone
can't.
off?
Well, it's possible. People have gotten broke. People have succumbed to addiction. Jake the Snake Roberts, for example. But Cena doesn't strike me as that kind of cat. Do
Well,
you
we don't know
agree?
that for sure. It could be an addiction issue because he has a lavish spending life. That's possible. That's the thing
Oh
about
well, it's not. It's
man.
not possible. Just watch Total Divas. You'll see.
Yeah, he's getting paid on that too. He's getting probably a multi-million-dollar deal on that. So
But you actually see it. Total Bellas, Total Divas, the cars, the. I mean, the guy and Nikki kind of. I'm sure she doesn't make as much as him, but she can make do for herself too.
well, she makes enough for herself. She can support herself. She knows she ain't getting no $1 million. I know that. He getting way more than that, obviously. Especially on his contract. I
Uh,
think he's getting a $3 million contract with the company, plus
ooh,
percentage, plus he's getting royalty percentages, royalty
ooh,
amounts, plus he's getting the Total Divas contract, plus he's got a movie deals, he's got
ooh,
commercial deals. So the
ooh.
guy's getting a lot
Well,
of he's getting a lot of money on top of that three
we
million dollars
know
a year.
things that can happen. We've seen what happened to Hogan.
That's true.
I mean, he's admitted on the recent documentary that his divorce, the ex-wife, took away not just half of what he had. He admitted that it was most of what he had was gone. Most of what he had.
Wow. She
Yeah.
took about everything he got.
But after this trial, now he says that even before the $300 million from this trial, which he didn't get the full thing, he had to pay off his attorneys and all that. But even before this, he was set for life. That's what he said.
Well, yeah, obviously after that Gawker lawsuit, he was set after that lawsuit, so he don't have to do anything now after that. He don't have to do appearances to make money. He don't have to. I mean, he obviously he'll still do it. He's more expensive when it comes to appearances, but he doesn't really have to do that now. He can relax. He could just do
Yeah.
whatever he wants. He could just travel, so he's fine. Yeah,
Well, he wants to get his hall. He kind of got humiliated from that whole thing, and his Hall of Fame got rescinded. He wants to end on a good note, and he's trying to patch things up with them. And I think there's still that good relationship with Vince, where I think like behind closed doors. Obviously, he was publicly fired and all that, but behind closed doors, I think there was a handshake, and I think Vince told Hogan that in due time he'll welcome him back
Yeah, he just said lay
when this
low. It's
blows
gonna
over.
take some time. And as soon as all this is
But
gonna, all the dust settles, we're gonna state your Hall of Fame status with the
they're
company.
just like for the public image. I think they still have a good relationship, and I think at least what he wants is to rebuild his name in a positive note, and
Right.
it's not about the money. Obviously, he has enough to just bon voyage somewhere, but going back to Cena, um, it's just interesting. It's just interesting
Yeah,
that he
it
says to
is.
pay bills.
Yeah, I know. I don't know if he's just saying that or is he talking about I don't quite understand this. I mean, what do you mean you need 500 grand to pay bills? Don't you? So again, that's why it goes back to the lavish spending. Is he spending lavishly?
The guy is good. He's going to be in the movie theater soon. He's the star of a cartoon, I think.
Yeah, of an animated movie.
Yeah, so he's obviously he's not he has money.
Yeah. Yeah, so this is yeah, this is very odd, but all I gotta say is that we gotta wait and see what further details develop on this whole lawsuit. But obviously this is gonna be this is all gonna be done quietly. Vince, his lawyers, he's got good lawyers to help Cena.
Plus, he's an
He,
active competitor, so he's
yeah,
making that money. Not only is that he continues to make that money consistently, he also gets royalties off all the shirts and stuff.
yeah. I mean, he's one of their biggest top sellers when it comes to merchandising. So Vince can't
But
allow that to
it's
be
possible
disappear.
that he's just spending too much money.
That's what it is. I'm telling you, that's probably what it is. He has a lavish lifestyle of spending money, so he's gotta quit that. I mean, 500 grand, and you just sold a car which you agreed not to sell for a certain amount of time. You did it
That's just
because you needed to pay
strange.
bills.
That's just strange.
That is a very odd situation right here. And
That's he's
oh
he's
man.
I'd still like to be him in that position.
Well, I know, people are coming at him about selling stuff. It's like, dude, this is the only thing you can sell. I know he doesn't really sell well in the ring. That's why a lot of people who work with him
That's a
get
good.
pissed off
That's
about him.
a
It's like,
good
dude, you
one.
can't.
That's a good.
Yeah,
I'm sure the judge can't see him.
yeah. Yeah, that is the thing about John Cena. He's notorious for not selling well in matches, man. It's like, dude, it's that simple. Act like you really,
What
really
about
hurt,
Braun
man.
Strowman? Well, Strowman's supposed to not sell. Strowman, that's
No,
supposed to be his character.
Strowman sells a
Kind of like,
lot better. No, he sells better than John Cena. He
yeah.
sells a
Oh
lot
yeah.
better.
Oh yeah.
A lot better.
Yeah.
Okay,
So.
I'm not sure.
Hmm.
I think Cena does it sometimes on purpose just to make the other guys look bad because he has resentment towards some guys. And that's why people get pissed off at him, like Brock Lesnar, for example. Because after that, what was that? What was that? 2012 when Lesnar came back? Was it 2011? I think it was 2011, right? Or
2012. It
2012?
was the beginning of 20 after WrestleMania.
Yeah, yeah, that pay per view. What was it? Over the Edge. What was that pay per view they had?
The pay-per-view they had where Lesnar returned.
Yeah, and Lesnar beat the crap out of him and Cena won off of one move,
I think it was
one
Extreme Rules.
offensive. Yeah, Extreme Rules match. Yeah, and Cena didn't sell the injury. And Lesnar got pissed at him, and he went in the back. He was destroying everything.
That was good times with Lesnar. And speaking of Lesnar, speaking of Raw, why don't we talk a little bit about Raw, and then we'll talk about Matt Hardy since it was part of Raw.
Yeah, let's talk about that. Well, overall, the show wasn't bad. I mean, again, it still lacks some bit of creativity as always. Of course, the ratings dropped from 1 week from 3.0 to 2.7, so that tells the story right there. I guess the highlight of it, I mean, of course, the Cesaro and the Seth Rollins match. I mean, the Roman Reigns and Elias match. I'll admit that match right there was the match of the night. Roman Reigns versus Elias. Elias, I think, to me, I think that guy's gonna go somewhere, man. He's good on the mic. He draws a lot of heat from the crowd. He pisses everyone off. So actually, I like the character, man. It's just so cringe
Now,
me off to see that dude. He pisses me off, but
we
yeah,
started off with Reigns.
yeah,
Now, right? Am I right? We started off with Reigns cutting a promo,
yeah.
and to top off. Did Angle come out for that, or?
No, Angle didn't come out for that. It was Mr. Raj came out, and then Elias came out and challenged him for the title.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
So,
he
because
did cut off.
Miz
He
is
cut the
gone.
promo. And he said that. Yeah. Well, it's funny though because he got a bit of a pop for some members in the crowd saying, "You deserve it, Chad. You deserve it." And then I think he went off script by saying, "You know what? Thank you. It was
Hmm.
very refreshing for you guys to say that because I haven't got that type of reaction in a long time." you know. So he was
Well,
relieved to get a pop.
yeah,
you know.
really.
Yeah.
Well, the thing with me, for me, about that is he didn't look interested. I mean, he's holding that Intercontinental belt, and he's showing absolutely no enthusiasm. His face looks bored.
I guess he just don't want that title. He don't want to be pushed with that title. That's probably what it is. He doesn't seem enthusiastic about it, you know? I guess he doesn't like the fact that he's been reduced from main eventer to mid card. But everybody knows he's going to headline WrestleMania for what the reports are saying. So why is he
I
getting
mean,
upset
if
about it
a guy
now?
looks bored
Yeah,
in the ring, whether he has a belt or not, that's just not a guy you can get behind. Not a guy I could get behind.
right.
You know.
I don't know, man. Roman Reigns' characters get dried up a little bit, man. I think that's the reason why they reunited him with him and the Shield, so they could get him over again. That's probably why they're doing it. To be honest with you, because the Shield didn't really need to be reunited. They didn't need to. But I
That's
guess
what that is lazy booking, but I like it. You know, I like the reunion of DX. Obviously,
yeah.
the Shield's not DX, and they haven't been apart as long as DX. And DX is
Here's the thing: the DX is more of a iconic stable. The Shield are not quite iconic. Yeah, they're a good stable. They're a very great stable, but they're not quite as iconic as DX. DX actually transcended the sport of wrestling. That's why when they reunited, people were so thrilled, because they changed the sport of wrestling. You can say what you want
mm-hmm,
about NWO. Yeah, NWO did change the landscape of wrestling too when Hogan went heel and then all these other guys started to join whatnot. But DX were like more. I guess they weren't afraid to say what they want to say and feel how they wanted to feel. You know what I mean?
mm-hmm.
Whether it's through vulgar language, that's what DX
Well,
did. They were
it
just
wasn't the
pranksters.
same DX when they came back.
No, they weren't the same because Shawn Michaels was more of a Christian guy. He wasn't that guy that he was. But still, though, people were relieved they reunited. Though people were very relieved and they were very excited that they reunited.
Mm-hmm.
They transcended the sport. More so like the NWO. So um, all I can say is though, I think this is the reason why they reunited Shield just to get him over because Vince is still hell bent on him as being the guy. You know what I mean? The main eventer.
Oh
When
yeah, and
When
it's working
Cena
to some
leaves,
degree.
yeah, when Cena leaves, he'll be the guy who's going to be the cash cow, as you
But
want to say.
I think unlike this DX thing, that the Shield will kind of end. It'll end, and
Right, right. Look, I get all that, man, but I don't know. I think they need to turn the man heel.
because I think Rollins and Ambrose could do more. They could do more on their own. They're past it, you know.
Oh yeah, they're well over on their own. They don't I guess because they have more charisma than Roman Reigns. That's what it is. It's just the charisma. That's what it is. And I think what they need to do is that he needs to go heel. Go heel, man. I mean, you got to turn him heel because this is you don't want to make the same mistake what you did with John Cena, over the years. They didn't allow him to go heel. Obviously, that's Cena's decision. I guess because he has some type of career control clause or something like that he didn't not want to go heel because he didn't want he looked at the other financial ramifications behind that, saying, "Look, if I go heel, I'm gonna undermine my merchandising sales," and
I'm
that's what
sure he
it
would have been
was.
okay.
Yeah, he didn't want to undermine his merchandising sales. That's why he didn't want to go heel after all those years. You know?
Now,
Yeah,
now,
let's be honest. That's what it is. He didn't want to undermine his merchandising sales. That's what it is. After all those years, man, there's even reports that say that's the reason why he didn't want to do it because he didn't want undermine his
well,
merchandising
not just him.
revenue.
I think it was Vince's call. I think it was Vince's call.
Yeah, but still, though, come on, man. The guy could have got more over as a heel. Moreover, I mean, he would have big heat. He would have been happy that
Well,
he got over.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
People would have been
But
very happy he got
it
over
may
there.
still happen. I mean, look how late in the career Hogan did it. He was in his
But
mid
yeah, well, see,
forties.
that's the thing with WCW. They took a big risk with Hogan. Well, the reason why they did it because Hogan was getting booed in some of his matches,
He
and
was.
he was getting
Same
booed.
old stuff, huh?
Same old stuff. And it's funny though. People don't know this is that in 1991 Survivor Series when he fought, when he was wrestling the Undertaker, that card, that
Hmm.
match, people were booing him. Believe it or not. Of course, WWE at the time they have good editors to drown out the sound to make it seem like he wasn't being booed and whatnot. But when the Undertaker won the title that night, people were cheering that he won over Hogan, and they try to drown out the sound as the best way they can. It's like, dude, if you listen to it unedited, the Undertaker was the one who got cheered after winning that match, and Hogan got
Yeah,
booed throughout the
he is.
process. They just didn't, it just gets to some point in some time where a line is drawn where people get tired of seeing the same character over and over again. They feel that they get it shoved down their throats and we have to accept it. No, we want to see something new. We want to see something change. You know?
Cena, I mean, he's become kind of like a special attraction now, and it's not
Yeah,
as in your face, but I mean, you see him kind of rarely, to
yeah.
be honest. But Reigns, he's there week in and week out.
Right, right. I mean, yeah, he's
And
there week in, week out. He is, but they need to do something with him, man. They need to make him heal, but it doesn't look like they're going to do that because they're going to. He's more likely going to win the Royal Rumble again, and then he's going to face Brock Lesnar. That's what it looks like to me.
I
That
think the
could
winner
happen.
of the Royal Rumble would be the WWE Championship, so they make that a little bit more interesting, at least.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. Well, you know what? Speaking of the Royal,
So,
well, before we get to the Royal Rumble, I wanted to bring this up. Paige,
you mean
Paige
Raw?
returned
You mean Raw?
on Raw. Paige returned last week, and she came back today with her new
Well,
stable called
she's been
Absolution.
back. She's been back for a week.
Yeah, she's got a new stable with Mandy
Well,
Rose
what do
and
you think?
Selena Deville.
What do you think about this return for Paige?
It's refreshing because here's the thing: if you look at the rosters on both Raw and SmackDown for the women's division, it's only narrowed down to like what 5 to 8 women, and people kind of get tired of that. They're like, we already see these women wrestle each other every week. What about the women at NXT? When are they going to be brought up? So
Well,
not just that. It's just that it's refreshing to see her again because she kind of brings in new light to the division. And now that they're bringing in
Paige.
Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville and Asuka's now there, it kind of
Now, yeah.
strengthens the division a little bit. But
Now
go
let me
ahead.
ask you this. Obviously, she's got issues. That's why she's been out for almost 2 years. She
Yeah.
has issues. She has issues. Do you really think they're resolved all of a
Well,
sudden?
from what I've heard, she's no longer with Del Rio. That relationship has ended. That's probably one of the reasons why they brought her back. Because they
Yeah,
didn't
and
want
that's
no
why
they
they
didn't.
brought her back. They didn't want her when she was with Del Rio. But this person's an adult. Isn't she free to make her own
She's an
choices?
adult. She's an adult. That is true. But at the same time, if you're with someone who's very detrimental to the company, they're not going to want to be affiliated with you. This is what happened to AJ Lee when CM Punk left abruptly. She was still
She
under
wanted to.
contract.
She wanted to go. She wanted to go.
Yeah, she wanted to go because she knew the longer she was there, the more rifts that was going to occur with her. They were going to do. She knew they were going to pretty much was what I'm looking for. They were going to, bury her if she stood there for a lengthy period of time. You know what I mean? So that's why, yeah, she left. She knew she didn't want that was going to, so at some point, sometime that was going to occur. But anyhow, yeah, I just think that overall, it's definitely refreshing. It's something that it's like a shot in the arm that the division needed. It's good though because they still got Oscar. That's a great thing as well. But still, though, you definitely need a shot in the arm.
Raw, like I've been saying, Raw's the A show. Raw's always going to be the A show. They've got the A people. They've
Yeah,
got
it's
the
losing
A
in ratings though,
storyline.
man. It's losing in ratings badly though, man.
It'll always be the A show. But
Okay, if
speaking
it's
of the
the
A
A show
show,
and it continues
yeah.
to slip in ratings, you got the SmackDown, was a quote unquote supposed to be the B show. Its ratings has climbed the fourth straight week in a row. Something's not right there. How could it be
Well,
the A show? Well,
it has climbed, so it's been better than Raw, ratings wise.
yeah, I think it's been better than Raw.
I didn't think it's been the better show though.
Oh,
Not
come
this,
on, man.
not this week,
Seriously?
not this week,
What?
not this week.
Okay. Not this week? Why
No.
not? Why?
Well, I mean, I don't remember exactly the shows, but what did we have at the top of? We had Kevin Owens and Randy Orton, so that was a good ending. That was a good main event. But
Yes.
we
Good
had
ending, good
a
match.
lot of star power. We had this whole Jason Jordan storyline progressing.
Yeah, that's
Um,
progressing a little bit.
you know, Kane getting his payback. Roman getting
Yeah, so they're going to end the show
Braun
on that,
Strowman getting
man. Ah,
so
man. Nah, let me just say this. It was a good angle, but to end the show like that, no. I think they should have ended the show with the Roman Reigns and Elias match. I've been okay with that, but not with Kane and Braun Strowman angle with
well, it's Kane's hometown. I hear that after he got attacked in the ring, he came out in his suit and invited the crowd to a rally because he's running for mayor. Strange
Oh,
as that may sound.
yeah,
So I think
really.
there was reasoning behind whatever they did. That's what I'm saying.
And this is when Tennessee, right? In all the city town, Tennessee.
Not Knoxville, Tennessee, Kane's home.
Wow. Well, I don't know. That's kind of a strange way of ending things, ending the show. But if that's what they got to do to appreciate the man, to show respect, that's what they got to do.
I think he's pretty much after this. He's pretty much done. And what it kind of signifies, Kane came in, and he didn't talk. Paul Bearer was his mouthpiece, pretty much.
Wow.
And then when he first started talking, he had that voice box, okay?
Oh, yeah, I
Um,
know. I know. Of
like
course
those
they do.
people that smoke and have the hole in their throat.
Yeah.
So then eventually he started actually talking. Rob Van Dam kind of brought him out of his shell. X
Yeah.
Pac, whatever. Didn't like that part of Kane. Didn't like
Yeah.
Kane being humanized. But he's back to the Red Machine finally, and I think it's kind of gone full circle. I think he got his throat crushed. I have a feeling he's going to come back with that voice box, and it's kind of when things go full circle like that, it feels like the end, kind of
Yeah. You think this is
a
kind of
good
like an
ending,
exiting,
a
an
good
exiting?
ending.
Yeah. You think he
Now
would transition out
I'm
for his
sure
career?
Glenn Jacobs is still going to do stuff with the company. Um, he's got this mayor thing going on right now, which could take years if he wins to be away from the business. But he could always come back to his what was he, the general manager for a while, or
Yeah.
um,
He was the I think he was one of the what you call one of the spokespersons of the office of the
he
front
was
office or something.
he had a role, an honor role in management, completely different role, and
Yeah, he's been with the
it
company
was good.
since what?
It was better than you expect.
Yeah, he's been with the company for 22 years, so he's definitely a dedicated guy. They repackaged him so many times until they finally gave him the character that everybody saw him as best, as Kane, and he stuck with that. So I guess that was something he's like, you know what, this character worked out for me throughout my career. And he's
The,
been honored. He's been he's on good terms with the with the company. So he's got a lifetime position with them. So that's good. Him and the Undertaker,
oh yeah, Undertaker.
Shawn Michaels, those guys.
That's another topic I wanted to address with you. And
Uh
sorry
oh,
we're all
what
over the
about
place,
Taker?
guys, but just talking about Raw would just be boring for you guys, for you
It's okay.
listeners, really,
It's all good.
for you listeners and for Daniel here. So as you know, or maybe you don't know, but you'll let me know. Undertaker was backstage at Survivor Series recently.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Jerry Lawler does a podcast, and Jerry Lawler was backstage with Undertaker, and he said that guy, and take this with a grain of salt. I'm sure Jerry Lawler doesn't know what the Undertaker's plans are, but who knows? He said that guy does not look like a guy who's done.
Wait a minute. He say he's
He's
in
he's
shape.
he said he's ready to go. He was looking good, and he was looking ready to go.
Stay
Now he's
shape.
been announced for yeah.
Oh, okay, but
He's been in, yeah.
no, no. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
He's been announced for Raw 25th anniversary. I'm sure you heard about that.
Yeah.
And like I was saying before, on the last episode we did together, he wouldn't just come out there for just the sake of coming out there.
All right.
There's got to be a reason he's coming back. Now, what's your opinion on it? I mean, for some, it's great. For me, it's great. I want to see my childhood hero return, but God, isn't it painful to see this guy put his body through that pain
Well,
and that punishment
all I can
year after year when it's breaking down so bad already?
dude, like I said, man, at the start of this podcast, a line must be drawn. Okay, a line must be drawn here. And Taker, as much as I like Taker, I respect him so much. I just don't understand that you have nothing left to prove. You have nothing left to give to fans You give the fans all the years that you could give them. We appreciate that, man. We're not asking you to do any more. It's great to see you appear here and there. That's great. But you can't compete anymore, man. You gotta stop being. I mean, I hope you listen to me. Mark Calloway, man. I don't mean to call you a real name, but Taker, listen, brother. If you listen to this podcast, if you do get a chance to listen to this, just please, please, man. I think you need to listen to your body. Listen to what it tells you. To me, it's telling you that you cannot go at this rate anymore. You're 53 years old. You're 54 years old.
Is he?
Yeah, he's 54.
No.
So, yeah, he's 54 years old.
Shawn Michaels
You're
is the
54 years
same
old.
age as him.
Yeah, Shawn Michaels is 52.
They're the same age.
So, just about. I mean, Taker's got a couple
No,
years ahead of
they're
him.
the same age.
Okay, you know what? It's funny because I saw 1963 somewhere, and now they say it's 65. So I don't know why it is they keep changing his age. Okay, we'll take 52. All right, 52. Okay. At the same time, the
52.
man could barely walk. I mean, the dude could barely
Well,
run.
yeah. I mean, if he wasn't a competitor all his life, then I guess people could still go at 52.
But still, though,
I mean,
Goldberg,
Goldberg,
Reigns,
well,
man, that
Goldberg,
looked
Goldberg
pretty.
hasn't, Goldberg hasn't
Dude,
really
it
done
looked.
anything.
Dude, you seen his WrestleMania match against Roman Reigns?
Oh yeah, I've seen his WrestleMania matches the past 5 years.
He has looked pretty bad, dude. It's like, wow, what is going on here? Dude, I think it's just the age of pain, as they call it, like Heavy Metal Van Hammer will call it, age of pain. Dude, it's like it's really caught up to him, man. It's becoming very detrimental. He's had countless hip surgeries. At this point, man, it looks like, man, if he keeps this up, he may not be able to walk. You know?
Well, and he knows his body. He knows his body. He does get a year to relax and rest. Usually, every time. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. I don't know. I don't know why he would be on Raw, right? Do you agree with that? Other than competing again.
I don't know.
Or planning to, announcing to the Royal Rumble.
I mean, there's a reason behind that, but we'll see. If he could be going to the Royal Rumble, we all know that the Royal Rumble has many guest appearances who could partake in it.
Well, he could do the Royal Rumble. He doesn't have to do much.
Yeah, he could do the Royal Rumble. I mean, like Rob Van Dam, Jimmy Snuka did it, Roddy Piper did it.
Oh, Rob Van Dam. Don't compare that. I mean, Rob can go.
Yeah, he can still go. Yeah,
right. I mean, he slowed down just like Jericho has, but Undertaker can hardly move.
Yeah. I remember when he came back. Was it 2014 or 2011? Or was it 2011 Royal Rumble or 2012 Royal Rumble? It was one of those years when he came back.
But I'm not. To be the devil's advocate here, Andre the Giant, when he was wrestling Hogan at WrestleMania 3, he could barely move himself.
That's a good point.
At all. Good point. Like he was worse.
Yeah, Andre's worse. He couldn't really move in the ring, period. Even in his prime, he couldn't really move that well. I mean, actually, you know what? Let me take that back. He did move a little bit better in his prime. All that excessive weight.
Oh yeah, Andre was just a statue, and that was an iconic match anyway.
That's true. That was a good iconic match. Yeah, they did. They worked well together. But let's be real, though. Hogan will carry that.
That was an iconic match.
Yeah, Hogan carried that match, and that's why it made Andre look good. The younger version of Hulk Hogan, who was able to move, who was quick, who was more elusive, So.
Oh yeah, and I think it's also. Can you still hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
I think it's also. If he gets into shape, if he loses a little weight, if he tones, I mean, there's things you could still do at 50.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, look, man, I'm just reserve my opinion on this, man. I respect Taker a lot, but I just don't think he can do this anymore, man. I mean, whether he's in good shape or not, that may that tell a different story. But to me, I just think that he needs to. Like I said, man, I think he just call it a day, man. Just call it a day. You don't need to do this anymore. I really don't think. I'm gonna stick to my guns on this. To be honest with you, I'm going to stick to my guns. But you and
So
I can disagree again.
it seemed pretty final last year, but really they never officially said he was retired.
Well, I thought that WrestleMania match was his last match when he set, put the cape and his jacket and the
Well, yeah,
hat
that's
down.
that's what it looked like.
Yeah, that's what it looked like to me. But, all right, whatever. Well, speaking of Raw, I wanted to bring up something about Raw real quickly. We were talking about Paige for a second. To me, she gave a work shoot pipe bomb when she mentioned that I'm the reason why the word diva has been taken out of the women division because of me and nobody
Now
appreciates me.
she's the reason why, but there were girls at the same time as her, such as Emma, that don't get mentioned.
Yeah, Emma, Sasha Banks, who else?
Well, Sasha Banks came after her.
That's true. So it's kind of
Came
like a
after
shoot. It
her.
was like a work shoot. She gave a little work shoot pipe bomb. So I mean that kind of was a bit interesting. They attacked Sasha Banks. I mean, yeah, that we all know that story. But I mean, to me, overall, Raw. I mean, the show was like I give it a B minus. What do you think?
Yeah, I don't think SmackDown was. I'd give it the same thing, but I don't think SmackDown was that much better.
Well, for me, I think the match. I mean, the New Day match is always good because
Raw definitely has more star power. I mean, to me, Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn just don't do it.
yeah, Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn are the reason why people watch SmackDown. I mean, AJ Styles obviously too. He always gives good matches no matter what. Randy Orton versus Kevin Owens, that was a damn good match that ended to close the show. That was a damn good match. Of course,
With an unpredictable ending.
yeah, with a very unpredictable ending. Oh, there was one particular match on Raw I forgot to mention. This really kind of stood out to me. Not just the Elias and the Roman Reigns match. Samoa Joe versus Titus O'Neil. It was not the best match. I'm not gonna lie, but what stood out to me was that they were stiffing the hell out of each other in that match. I'm not sure if you watched it. That was a lot of stiffing going on. I don't know what that was all about. I mean, Joe was stiffing the hell out of Elias. I mean, Titus O'Neil. I'm sorry, and Titus was stiffing him back. So I don't know what that was about, man. What do you think about that? Yo, there. Yo, unmute your mic. Yeah, you're on mute.
I think I think Elias has been. I was saying I think Elias has been working a stiff style since he got there. Really, with the guitar and just
Well,
I feel like that's his style.
yeah. Oh no, no, no. I didn't mean Elias. My bad. I meant Titus O'Neil. Titus O'Neil versus Samoa Joe.
To be honest, I didn't notice, but he got beat up. He
Okay.
got real beat up at the end, and I
Yeah,
feel
Samoa.
like that's what the storyline kind of called for, right?
Yeah, he beat the hell out of Titus O'Neil. Then he attacked Apollo Cruz. Yeah, speaking of Joe, I'm not sure. I think after the match with Roman Reigns and Elias, he attacked Roman Reigns and would have put him in the Coquina clutch. So they're gonna start a program with each other for that Intercontinental title. From the looks of it, what do you think about that one, Joe versus Roman Reigns? I mean, we've seen it before, but what do you think about them working the programming again?
I think it works. I think that Joe's a badass,
Mm-hmm.
and Roman is trying to be.
So, all right, cool, 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 cool.
And I think it works. I don't think it's a main event program. It's not. It's a stepping stone for Roman, is what it is.
I hear you. Yeah, as far as SmackDown is concerned, I give it a B. I know you give it a
What do
C.
you think of the Bludgeon Brothers now? And what do you think of Zack Ryder and Mojo Rawley breaking up? Because some people are with. I'm hearing whispers now. Zack is on his way out.
Yeah, that's the reason why. I was going to say that. I think the reason why they're breaking up because he's on his way out the door, and
Now, do
they're
you
just
remember
going to have to.
Do you remember years ago they were actually high on him? He actually was doing a
Yeah, they
program with
were.
Cena. He was doing a program with Cena, and he had quite a bit of charisma.
Right. He did.
But
The woo.
I still feel after all these years, how long has he been there? Like 10 years. I still feel
Yeah.
like we haven't seen everything he can do in the ring. We haven't.
Well, they've worked to really marginalize him over the years, man. So I think it's unfair. It's an injustice what they've done to him. He's been nothing but a team player. He's been trying his best to be on good terms with the company, but it appears Vince is not high on the guy. Just like Vince is not high on Finn Balor. We
Well,
don't have to
it
talk about
appears
that
that
right
way
there.
about Finn for for not Finn, Zach for as long as we can remember.
Right. But let's be real here. We forgot to talk about Finn Balor. Finn Balor, he worked his
Finn
match against
Balor's
Kane.
not in a good place right now.
He's not because he was supposed to get the match against Brock Lesnar at Royal Rumble, but it turns out that the powers may be, we all know who that is, Vince McMahon decided to rescind that. Vince said, quote, that he doesn't think that he doesn't think that Finn draws well with the crowd. He's not over with the crowd, which is bullshit to me.
You're talking about last year's Royal Rumble?
Yeah.
Who did Brock end up facing?
No, not last year's Royal Rumble. This upcoming Royal Rumble.
Oh, they were
Finn
supposed
Balor's
to have
supposed
a.
to.
Well, that could
Yeah,
still
he's supposed to
happen.
have
I
a
mean,
match with Brock
that's
Lesnar,
the future.
well, that's supposed to be the Royal Rumble coming up, but Vince decided to veto that, and he said that he doesn't think that Finn is not he's not quite over with the crowd. That's the reason why he doesn't feel that he needs to be the guy to be putting that match against Lesnar, which is bullshit. It's bullshit. And the reason why, because Finn Balor is a guy who's well over the crowd, but yet you took his demon character away. He looks pretty bland with it. Now, to me, honestly, he's more over with that character, but him without the demon character, he's still over, but he's not quite as over as he was with that character. So Vince is doing what he can to marginalize the guy, and it's not fair. It's not fair, you know.
It's
So
maybe he'd do better on SmackDown, is what I think.
no, I think so too, because Vince can't micromanage that show.
He
So
micromanages
put
both
him on
shows.
SmackDown,
He he
let the
he
writers handle
he.
it.
By the way, did you see that Kevin Owens documentary?
No, I didn't see it.
Did you hear about the part with Vince?
Did not hear about that. What happened there?
So and you should watch this. You should really watch. I don't know if you have the network, but so you should go out of your way to find this. So Kevin had this. First of all, you remember that he was teaming with Jericho, and they were planning to have a feud, and they were planning for it to be a big match for the title. But then Vince changed the plans on everything, and he made Goldberg the Universal Champion. And that
Right.
match between Owens and Jericho just became kind of in the background, less important, really, and it was.
Right. Right. Yeah. I remember.
And I don't know the specific words that were being said, but if you watch it, you'll see. So it actually shows Owens walking backstage after the match into the gorilla position where Vince is sitting, and he's asking Vince, "How'd you like the match?"
Right.
And Vince just looks at him and says, "I didn't. It wasn't
Wow.
good." And you could see Owens like deflates, and it really gets to him, and he gets sad, and it's just I don't even know how they got cameras, but honestly I don't think Vince noticed these documentary people catching that.
Well, yeah, I don't think so too, because if you watch the Hitman Hart Wrestling with Shadows documentary, Vince didn't know that Brett was taping him in that when they had that
Well,
conversation about
this
how
was
the
a
match.
WWE documentary. That was an outside project
Oh,
for Brett.
so this was a green light
This
documentary by
is this is
WWE.
on the network.
Whoa, I did not know that.
Yeah, you should really. It's interesting.
Well,
You should
is
really
it
watch this one.
so the documentary is produced by WWE,
It's on the network. Yeah.
but it's okay. So it's produced by them.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
But
Oh,
there's
should
different
they allow that?
departments, and I'm sure it shouldn't. I'm sure Vince wouldn't have allowed it, but I think it kind of just got past him.
Wow, I can
And
see
and
why
it
Kevin Owens has been pissed off as of late.
and it kind of it kind of shows Owens asking what Vince thought of the match, and Vince kind of poo-pooed it.
Fuck you, Vince McMahon.
I mean,
I'm sorry to say
it wasn't
that.
honestly it wasn't great. I mean, the match
Of course not.
could have been.
You can only do so much when you only get in a 10-minute time slot. You know,
Yeah, entrances
you
and
can only do so much with that.
Yeah.
The match was great. You only get you only get that certain amount of minutes. So I mean, I don't know why Kevin decided to ask that question. I don't know why. I mean, come on, it's just common sense. Your match didn't go no more than 15 minutes. How can you say that was a good match? How can you ask somebody if that was a good match? I don't quite understand that. I don't know. I don't know. But again, I feel for what his anger, because to have the chairman of the company say that your match was bad, I didn't like it, in your face, that tells you something. That kills your
Right
confidence.
after. Right after.
Right after, it kills your confidence. It kills it kills your self confidence in a way.
I'm
So
sure Vince doesn't tell his son Shane after all those screwed up promos and missed moves.
yeah,
He thinks,
came and throw a shoot. Wait, no, sorry, what you call it, a choreographed punch correctly.
Shane McMahon.
Yeah, he came and throw a choreographed punch. I don't think Shane cares. He's like, "Fuck you, Dad. I do what the hell I want. I'm still over the crowd anyway." you know.
I think, yeah, I think, I don't know. That's an interesting. That could be a show on its own. Vince and his relationship with his children. It's just a lot to dissect.
Yeah.
It's just a lot to dissect.
Yeah.
So let's talk about Raw. We talked about Raw. Let's talk about SmackDown a little bit. Actually, before we talk about SmackDown, let's talk about Matt Hardy versus Bray Wyatt and where Matt Hardy is going here with his character, because
Uh-oh.
finally we seem to be seeing a breakthrough, and this is great timing for it since Jeff is out pretty much indefinitely. Jeff is gone.
Yeah, he's gone. They're not bringing him back. They've given this guy too many chances, man.
Jeff
Too
Hardy?
many. Yeah,
No, well Jeff is out with surgery, so
I know. But still though, is either whether he gets injured, whether he's always getting into some type of other situations.
well, I think he'll be back eventually, but not for a while.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like they were going to get a big push anyway. I mean, those guys are, they're old. They've had their time. So they're just there to put young guys over, which they accept that's their role now. So nothing wrong with that. But all I can say is though, man, all I can say is that uh what I was gonna say. It was just that the
We
broken
had
character is
Bray Wyatt versus Matt Hardy. Matt Hardy lost.
yeah,
Not surprising. Then he was
yeah, the
doing
broken character
delete,
is coming
delete,
in.
delete. I don't think it's going to be called broken. I think it's going to be called woken. Seems to,
Woken, yeah,
and
because of the
and
trademark situation.
there was a YouTube
Yeah,
video, and it looked good. It looked like the original produced TNA ones. It looked pretty good, and hey, at least they're doing something with it, with him, with
yeah,
Matt. Where do you think this is
yeah.
going to
That
go?
I think it's gonna go to it's they're definitely gonna bring it that it's gonna be it's gonna be the element of that broken character. It is. So that's what's gonna happen. So I don't, it's definitely good, as you say. It's definitely good timing. It's definitely good timing. Can't complain about it. So
I mean, did you watch it? Did you watch some of this stuff
yeah, I
when he
did.
was originally doing it? You watched the Impact shows, or you caught it on YouTube?
I caught it on YouTube. I haven't really watched the Impact shows. I caught it, and I thought it was very interesting, to be honest with you. Very interesting, and I think
Yeah, so it won't be exactly the same. I mean, WWE has better production value. It has more pomp and circumstance, obviously. We'll see what they do. I think it's going to be pretty dark. I think it's going to be kind of like they do for Wyatt, with little vignettes backstage and etc.
right.
But
Yeah. I totally get what you're saying on that, man. But it'll be interesting to see what where this goes, man. Does this mean that he's gonna get a title push or what? What do you
this
think?
doesn't mean that. I think what it means is that he's going to have an interesting feud with Bray. Um,
Okay.
beyond that, I beyond that, I don't think they know where they're going. But I think they're going to have this Bray feud. Is what they're going to do.
Hmm. Well, I mean, we'll see where it goes. I mean, it'd be interesting to see him and Ray Wyatt feud together. I mean, that's gonna be interesting. Speaking of Bray Wyatt, man, I mean they really marginalized him too. So not
Bray
funny, but
Wyatt.
yeah,
Yeah, they're both in the can right now, and they're finally doing something.
yeah. I mean, look. To me, I think it's not just the writers because I think the writers really want to do something with these guys on Raw. It's just that Vince, who has to be on the A show, quote unquote, needs to micromanage it, make sure things are done his way. He's in the back with his headset on, making sure the production is run the way it should be ran. Blah blah blah. All right, look, man. This is why that's why I hate when people just can't let their egos go, man. It's like to me, your way of running things is run its course. Let your son-in-law and your sister and your daughter run things. They've been in the business long enough to understand how to run things. Okay, that's a bit questionable, but Triple H definitely knows how to run the business. He knows how to do that. You know how things work. You know, I think
Oh
he
yeah.
needs to trust him how to run things. So, speaking of that, Batista said that he'll only come back to WWE unless he worked as a program with Triple H. That's it. So, I
You talking
mean,
about
just to throw
Batista?
that out. Yeah, he said he only comes back
Well, Vince.
unless he's
First,
programmed with
first
Thunder.
of
That's
all,
it.
first of all, I know that he had an interview with Jim Ross recently, and I think we
Yeah,
spoke about this, or I spoke about this before. And he said that he's interested. He's not just interested for a one-off. He's interested in really coming back and in doing even house shows and in working a program. And
right.
so I think he wants the Triple H match, but I think it to be he wants it to be right. He wants to, of course, be have the correct character this time. Have the fans
Right.
take to them, whether it be a heel or face. And he does. He wants to do a run. He loves the business still, and I was actually surprised by hearing this answer. And maybe it'll lead to a match with Triple H. Obviously, this WrestleMania Triple H is going to have Angle, most likely. So
Yeah.
um, I think we're going to have a Hall of Fame induction for him. I think that either him or Goldberg this coming year. And yeah, I think he even said that he's already in talks with Vince right now about it.
Oh, okay. All right. So they are going to work something out. So, I mean, do you think he's going to get to the Hall of Fame this upcoming year? This upcoming Hall of Fame?
What would you say, him or Goldberg for this coming year?
Um. Well, if you ask me, I think they're going to go with Goldberg.
I do too,
Yeah, they're gonna go with Goldberg and then
and
Batista the
I
next
think
year.
they can't they shouldn't do them both at the same time.
No, they can't.
They need headliners.
Yeah, I think it'll be again. I think it's them. It's Goldberg, then Batista the following year, and then after that, hopefully, be The Rock because everybody's waiting for that induction to happen. The Rock,
They're not
that would be
ready.
big.
They're not ready. They're not inducting The Rock yet.
They're not. They're gonna wait. Well, how long can they wait? Because people are gonna expect that to happen pretty soon.
Now, let me ask you this: do you see The Rock at WrestleMania this year?
Maybe he may make an appearance.
It's really touch and go with that. It's you just can't predict it.
Yeah, we just can't predict it, but I think it's gonna happen. He'll make an appearance. Now, we'll see. We'll see how this goes, man. But other than that, yeah, I don't know, man. We'll see where how Batista, Rock, how they, where they're, how this plays out with the WWE, man. But
Angle too. I mean, we've barely seen much of his in-ring style or competition. A one-on-one match at WrestleMania is a lot different than a tag match where you're in there for 3 minutes.
yeah, you only get what 3 5 minutes of action, definitely.
Yeah.
But it'd be interesting to
So
see how Angle handles.
obviously Angle was a little banged up at Survivor Series. That's why he performed so poorly.
Right.
Um, Based on his recent indie matches, the guy can still really go. But Do you see him? And we're predicting Triple H for WrestleMania, but we all know how often things change with this company as far as booking plans. But do you see him being able to pull off a one-on-one match?
Um, I think he can because I've seen this on his recent indie matches too. Based off what I've seen from the eye test, I think he can still go. So,
Oh, he definitely could still go, but it's been a minute since he wrestled Indy.
yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah. But to me though, if but honestly though, like again from the eye test, I think he's doing better. But he's more acceptable to do in ring competition than the Undertaker. Let's be honest with that. Let's
Well,
be
and
honest with ourselves.
it's always been different styles.
But still though, man.
The Undertaker could pull off a slow kind of big man style.
Yeah, but still though, man, if you can't really move out, if you can't really show much agility in the ring and move smoothly and be a little crisp,
Well, what do you think
nah.
about Kane? What do you think about Kane's performances lately? He has been botching a lot of moves, but he's about the same age as Taker.
Well, the difference is Kane hasn't been in the ring for over a year now, and he's getting up in age. So, he's finally coming back, and so the thing is that I don't know. I mean, Kane, yeah, he's botching a lot. I mean, again, you're up in age, your reflexes change. So I don't know, man. It's like this is common with a lot of the big, tall wrestlers, man. They
What about
always
the Big Show? I mean, if anything, Big Show's gotten better with age. He's lost the weight. He's in shape. He's more agile.
he
You
is, but
know.
he's still suffering from nagging injuries. He even admit that too. He's like, dude, I've been
Oh
with.
well, that's old age, but he's definitely in the best shape since for a while. I mean, really since his WCW days.
Oh yeah, yeah. He's much better shape than he was then in WCW. He finally got a 6 pack. He looks in great shape. He's worked so hard to get his weight down over the years. I remember one time this dude he blew up close what 460 pounds. And I thought, man, you gonna get over 500 pounds? You need to control that weight, and he eventually did. So I'm happy for him. He's down to what maybe about 350, maybe if that,
Yeah.
320. So he's at he's
Do you
he's
think? Do
the
you
right
think?
size.
Do you think he's done? Do you think we could see him for a Hall of Fame headliner?
I think he'll
I
be in the
think
Hall of Fame, but not this year or next.
he's just about done.
Yeah, he about done.
I don't see him as a headliner though. I don't see him as the top Hall of Fame name. I see him
No,
as a
he won't be.
secondary.
No, he won't be. He'll probably be a co-headliner right behind. Well, who hasn't got to the Hall of Fame yet? I mean, Owen Hart hasn't got in, but we all
I
know the
mean,
situation with Hart handling.
The Undertaker hasn't gone in yet.
If the Undertaker's gonna get inducted, the Big Show will be inducted right behind him. I think he's gonna.
Um, the Undertaker will get inducted.
Yeah, I know.
You
I
know
know
what?
he'll get it.
I was just thinking all this Hall of Fame talk about a controversial topic, and I wanted to hear your thoughts about it.
Okay.
Um, Now we all know this Warrior Award for the Hall of Fame.
Oh.
You know where I'm going with this, huh?
Yep, I know exactly where you're going with this.
Now, the wife does I think she's a great speaker, presenter, and she's just, I didn't think she could handle it, especially with the grief she's suffering. She's been
Right.
suffering all these couple of years, but wow, she's a strong woman, and she's really got a lot of charisma in
Right.
that spot that they put her in with this Warrior Award. And they usually award kids with cancer or disabled heroes, let's say, just people with very difficult but inspiring stories.
Right.
Now, the man though, Ultimate Warrior, this guy was not a good guy, as we know.
No, he wasn't. He wasn't. We respect what he did in his career. I know when we had 3 years ago, we did a podcast on a radio show about his death, and we paid respects to him and his family, which is rightfully the rightful thing to do. But as years has gone by, it is safe to say that we have to bring up the fact that this guy was not a great people's person.
I mean,
And he lasted a
what
lot of
exactly? First of all, he was weird. He had some strange beliefs.
Right.
Was he racist, sexist? What exactly was
He
he?
was both. He was racist, he was sexist, and he was a homophobe.
He did some kind of speeches and
Yeah, okay. If you go to the speech can be found online. This controversial speech he made at the University of Yukon back in 2005 when he was a motivational speaker for the for the Republican Party, right? For the college Republicans. This is
yeah.
the infamous quote, right? He said the word queering. This is what he said. Quote. I know, guys, don't take offense when I say this, but I'm just only quoting what he said. He said that queering doesn't make the world work. Okay,
Mhm.
homosexuals,
Mhm.
we have more. If the homosexuals continue to engage in the behavior that they're engaging right now, mankind will become extinct as we know it.
Huh.
The more homosexuals exist, the more in danger mankind becomes. This is what he said, and it pissed off a lot of people at UConn when he made those statements. And
Mhm.
also he once said that Bobby the Brain Eaton, he wished he had died from cancer years ago. Of
When he
course,
had
Bobby
cancer
Brain Eaton
already?
did pass this year. No, no, he didn't have. No, he didn't have. He said. Well, he said this many years ago before Bobby was diagnosed, I believe. So I think. I think that. I know. He also once said too. He also said something about Martin Luther King Jr. too. I'm gonna bring up that quote.
Well,
Let me
so he
see.
said a lot of things. He did a lot of. But do you think the man turned himself around enough in the final years and in the reconciliation with WWE that he earned the right to have like an award next to his name, or do you think it's kind of wrong that WWE's wiped out from history all this negative stuff and kind of like whitewashed, polished him to
Well,
what they're presenting
here's
him
the
as
thing I would
now.
say though. First of all, you could honor the man for what he did in the ring. That's great, but to have an award that's named after him, that's taking it too far. Okay, especially all the controversial statements he's made. He never apologized for that before he passed. That has to be taken into account. He never did. Okay, but the fact is that if you're gonna whitewash, if they're gonna whitewash his controversial past and the things he said, the things he's engaged into, then it's fair to say that, well, why don't you do that for China? Because you had Triple H who came out on a podcast on Steve Austin's podcast and
Well, we
said,
know we know why they don't do it for China.
well, it's not fair then. If you're going to do that for Warrior, then you got to do it for China too, because now they're,
Well,
I'm just
yeah,
saying you got to be consistent here. You can't just select and choose and be selective of who you want.
you gotta be, but unfortunately, they're not playing that fairness game with because the whole Triple H and Stephanie thing. But
Well, I'm just looking for
yeah.
consistency. That's all.
Mhm.
A little bit
Same
consistent.
thing with Randy Savage. They wouldn't put an award next to his name.
Well, there's many reasons behind that. We all know the infamous urban legend about Randy Savage. I mean, they got him into the Hall of Fame, but I mean,
Yeah, at least they did
it
that. I
took
was
his death
surprised
to
they even
finally.
did that.
Yeah, it's sad though that it took his death for them to realize to put him in the Hall of Fame,
Even
and
years. I mean, it happened years after the death. So
yeah, well, it took him what 3 years to do it, 4 years
yeah,
after his death.
about
But
just about.
yeah, I mean, it was I ain't gonna lie to you, man. That was a very that was a very emotional tribute they did for him at the day after his passing, day after his passing.
Oh well,
Um,
their video production crew is top notch. I
yeah,
think their video packages are better than their live broadcasts lately. Speaking of the live broadcast, what do you think of SmackDown?
SmackDown's live broadcasting, I think they're very good.
What did you think of SmackDown this week?
I thought it was a good show. I thought it was a good show. I gave it a B. B.
Now, what did you think of the segment with Daniel Bryan and Shane McMahon in the beginning?
Oh man, I thought it was dragging. It didn't make no sense to me. There's no
I
chemistry
mean,
there.
they're building something, just like they were building something with Bryan and Miz last year. But where is it going if Bryan's not wrestling?
Well,
Is the
the rumor
question.
is, speaking of Brian, the rumor is that he may be leaving. He may
Well,
be
I
leaving.
heard what I read. The latest thing I read was Brie Bella's quote, and Brie Bella said, and I don't know if you saw this. Brie Bella said that Bryan is on a mission to wrestle in WWE, on a mission to wrestle in WWE. What do you think? What are your thoughts on that? He's on a mission.
I Well, I think what they're going to probably do is they're going to more likely reinstate him based off new test results, based off new findings. I think what they're going to finally reconsider and allow him to compete, because you have to understand the WWE take concussions very seriously. Because after the Chris Benoit situation, they kind of they kind of really they really want to micromanage that situation, because any of their their performers get some type of concussions. They want to make sure they get a proper evaluation and make sure they they just don't want to take chances with people who has multiple concussions. That's the thing with Bryan. He's had a history of concussions. They don't want to take a risk. They don't want to take that risk with him. But again, I think now, based off what we're hearing, I guess based off new studies and based off another opinion, I should say, a second opinion, maybe a third, they're probably going to clear him to wrestle.
Well, I
So,
don't know if WWE will clear him to wrestle. I don't know if they ever will.
well, I'm
Honestly, I
not
don't know if
saying,
I don't know if they ever will. But I think that he could go better than Shane can at this point. If
yeah,
you compare the two,
yeah, I think he can. I
I
think
mean,
that's
I'm sure if they let him have a match, nothing bad would happen. But if you remember, actually, his last few matches at the end of his career, stuff kept happening. Scary stuff.
I know. I know. That's what they're afraid of. They don't want to take that chance with him. And it could be they're getting another medical opinion, so we'll see. We'll see how this goes. But I mean, it'd be great to see him back in the ring, if anything. But at the same time, we gotta understand. Let's be rational here. Health comes first before anything.
Yeah.
So
Now WWE did Starcade. It was a non-televised event. It included um, Ric Flair was there. Arn Anderson did a spine buster on somebody.
yeah,
Goldust was Dustin. He had a different gimmick in tribute of his father, the natural Dustin Rhodes, I believe it was. So, what do you think this thing is ever coming to TV?
yeah, I know. It's
like
actually
a
it was like a house show style event. I mean, I'm like,
they
what?
taped it. They taped
Yeah, they
it just
taped
in
the
case.
thing. It's like, why did they just show it live? It's just like, what? How are you going to do that
It's
to a WCW traditional show?
maybe
Yeah,
I
they do
think
bring it to.
they're planning it for some kind of special. They're gonna do something with it instead of having it live.
I mean, I saw something there about Miss RS giving what Dolph Ziggler a spine buster, but still, I wish they would have done it live. I mean, I hope they do kind of bring it live. I mean, they did that for War Games or NXT. That turned out to be a very good show, a damn good show. You know?
You like that one?
Oh yeah, that was a damn good show. And I know that was like a day or two before Survivor Series. Survivor Series definitely had us work cut out for them trying to top that show, and
You really like Survivor Series though. I
I
noticed
did, but when I watched an
through
NXT
your
show, I admit that I didn't watch an NXT show before that.
yeah.
But once I did, I looked at it as like, oh my goodness.
Oh yeah.
Ah,
That was I mean that show NXT it was all about its main event and how good that was because let's face it, the match between Drew and well, I can never get this guy's name, Cien Alves,
Drew McIntyre.
Drew McIntyre and Cien Alves, whatever his name is, did not deliver because there was an abrupt injury, and when there's an
Yeah,
abrupt injury, the match just kind
they
of
had to go home. Yeah,
yeah.
they had to. Yeah, it's called go home edition.
What
They
do you
had to go
think?
home.
I think that Drew was going to go to the main roster and even be involved in the Royal Rumble. Unfortunately, this happened. Um,
Yeah.
I think they're still planning something. I don't think he's going back to NXT. Basically, I think when
No,
he
I
recovers
think
from that injury, he'll be in the main roster.
yeah, he needs to go back. He needs to go to the main roster. He's ready now. He's proven himself as in NXT. He's helped put the talent over there, and he's gone over himself with the crowd. So he definitely be a major player on the main roster. But speaking of NXT, some of the ladies that's been called up, like Sonya Deville and Mandy Rose and Liv Morgan, all those ladies that's been called up. We got to talk about that in a sec. They are afraid that they're gonna be marginalized on the main roster, just like they've seen other people who came from NXT up to the main roster and see what happened to them. So they're
Yeah.
kind of really worried about that. So uh, the rumor has it is that the reason why they're bringing all these women up from the roster from NXT to SmackDown and Raw is because the rumor mill is that they're planning a women's Royal Rumble match. That's the rumor,
Oh
but
yeah,
there
that's
but
the
there's
rumor.
that's the rumor. But the other reports are saying that no, that's not the case. What they're trying to do is that they're trying to ease the burden on the women they have right now, like the 7, 8 women they have on each show. They try to ease the burden on
Yeah.
them and say, you know what, let's switch it up a little bit. Let's add more females to the roster so that way we can get different styles of matches. So that's why
Yeah.
ease the burden on like the likes of Naomi and others. So
And
uh,
of course, and of course, we've got um, we've got these women, and maybe they could do a battle royal, not a full Royal Rumble.
yeah, I don't think they need a Royal Rumble to be honest with you. Why would they need a Royal Rumble for?
Well, it would
I
be
know they
interesting.
it'd be interesting. They got their money in the bank. That's cool. That was a damn good match by the way. That their money in bank matches. So and speaking of that, when is Carmella going to cash in?
Oh yeah, ever since Ellsworth got released, we haven't really seen much of that briefcase.
Carmella, that's what I'm trying to figure out. What's going on there? you know, I think
Yeah,
they're
the
gonna.
focus hasn't been on her.
Yeah, I think what they're going to try to do is that they're going to wait till the Clash of the Champions. I predict. Hear me. You heard this on the show tonight, man. I think they're gonna. Carmella's gonna cash in on Clash of Champions. Watch.
Hmm.
She's gonna cash in. And by the way, yeah, they're having Charlotte versus Natalia again, right? But that's what they're doing. They're going to
Oh yeah,
protest.
let's go over that a little bit. That
Yeah,
card so far, because I know 3 championship matches have been announced.
yeah. It's 3 championship matches.
Jinder versus AJ. Do you see Jinder getting back that belt? Because for some reason I don't.
Well, the rumor has it that they are going to do it. They're going to consider it, and there's people going to kind of protest that. So why?
He's definitely not getting much of a reaction, and I think the company's kind of down on him.
Yeah, I don't think he should get back that belt, to be honest with you. But the rumor is that he will. But let's hope they could change their mind because ever since AJ Styles got the belt back, it's been more of a better reaction with the crowd. He's more over as a champion than Jinder Mahal is. Let's be real.
Well, he always has. I mean, he's held it before.
He's held it
Jinder
before,
kind of came out of nowhere.
right?
Um,
It's funny though
now,
because the guy that I wanted to bring on here, D Style Boxer, D Style doesn't like Jinder Mahal. I mean, he likes the guy, but he just didn't like the fact the way he was pushed. And he had his gripes about that, but that's why I wish I had him on the show to talk about that. But I mean, as far as the matches are concerned,
yeah,
AJ versus Jinder, I think that's gonna be a good match. But speaking of that, Jinder Mahal, the Singh brothers, he attacked the Singh brothers after the match after the handicap match that they had
yeah,
with
yeah.
AJ.
Are they done with him or what?
Well, I can tell you this though. What happening is, according to the reports, what I've read is that they are going to be sent back down to the NXT. Now they're going to be repackaged. I'm not sure how they're going to repackage them. They may be having to going separate ways. Going separate ways as a singles competitors, or they're going to have them as a tag team duo. So
Mhm.
that's what's happening right now. So they're not with Jinder anymore.
They might go to 205 Live. I
Yeah,
know that Hideo Itami is headed to 205 Live, which could be a good thing.
yeah, they're both cruiserweights, so they might go to 205 Live, but yeah, they're going to go back to NXT to get a repackage them. They'll put it back. They'll get him called back on the main roster. So that's what they did to Emma. So they sent her to the NXT, and then they brought her back to the main roster, and she did okay. But that for the Singh
Mhm.
brothers, that's what's happening right now. So everybody who think that
That's
the
what's
Singh brothers are going to get released, that's what's going to happen. They're going to stay. They're just going to repackage them. That's all. That's all it is.
um.
So yeah,
So they're done. They're done with Jinder, huh?
yep. Well, yeah, they're done with Jinder. So Jinder's by himself unless he's going to get a bodyguard or something.
Yeah, yeah. We'll see what's up with Jinder moving forward. We'll see what
Yeah.
exactly they're gonna do. You wanted to talk a little bit about Leo Rush?
Yeah, let's talk about that one. Leo Rush, according to Leo Rush have removed all his references of the company NXT from his Twitter account. So that led to speculation that he got released. The officials were reached out about this. They said that one of the spokesmen said, "Look, he's not released. He's still with the company. We'll leave it at that." So I guess, from my understanding, is that they're going to keep this they're going to keep this quiet in a way. He's maybe still on the contract.
He's in the doghouse.
Yeah, he's
He's
definitely
in
in
the
the doghouse
doghouse.
because he hasn't been seen on TV ever since that whole incident. So my thing is that they're gonna release him. And he probably knows that. That's why he removed all his references from Twitter. So he probably wasn't informed that he was going to get cut. His contract's going to get cut. They got to just ease out the transition. The transition the right way. So
Do you think that since you heard they were planning to cut him, he he's you know he's got some peers backstage, some connections, something that could help him kind of get a second chance with them
uh
to kind of stay there, or, at least.
well, I mean, look,
I mean, people make mistakes. Obviously, that was one. Saying that in public like that.
they do, but like I said, Leo Rush was already in the doghouse in a way when as far as wrestling business as a whole, when he got in. Okay, because like I told you, this infamous moment that he had at CCW, and he's had other incidents before that, where he did sell a move when he took a power bomb to the table from the ladder, from a 12-foot ladder, and he didn't sell that move. And a lot of people criticized him for that. Jim Cornette got on his, trashed him for that. Who else trashed him for that? I think Dave Meltzer trashed him for that. So a lot of people, a lot of wrestling insiders, and comments trashed him for not selling that move. So uh, you know, like I said, the guy's he seems like a candid guy. He's not afraid to speak what's on his mind, but he really cost himself an opportunity. It may take a long time for him to get it back. Again, people do make mistakes, but this is like one critical mistake you don't make, especially you just signed with the company, man. This is something you don't do. It is a reason why I agree why they kept him off TV, because if they put him on TV, I know they wanted to punish him. Trust me, the crowd would have booed him out of the arena. They probably would have threw stuff at him. You know what I mean? So that's why they kept him off
Yeah,
TV. So they
yeah.
would have
He
been a
probably needs
much.
time. He needs some time for this to blow over.
Yeah. I mean, he could go back to the Indies. I mean, that's probably what he prefers anyway. I don't know. I mean, you know. So
um,
yeah, I mean, the dude, like I said, man, I don't really, like I said, I do believe in guys getting second chances. If it was up to me, yeah, he'll probably get a second chance. If it was up to me, but some people who respect this business, to go that low to just say something like that to a person who just got fired, yeah, that right there, that's something you don't, that a line must be drawn there, right? So yeah, you shot yourself in the foot, Leo. He did that. But let's be honest, he shot himself in the foot. You know,
oh yeah, oh yeah.
but it is what it is on that, man. So, uh, another thing I wanted to talk about here is that CM Punk. Now, people wonder what's going on with him. The rumor is, some people threw out a rumor that he going to come back to the WWE. Well, the answer is no. He's not. I don't think he's coming back.
He's gonna be talking to Dana White.
Yeah. Yeah, he's gonna be talking to Dana White. They'll be discussing his future with the UFC, and he'll definitely be at their new event, their upcoming event,
Now,
the 218 event.
if he has another poor match like he had the first time, I don't think there's going to be a third discussion.
I think what's gonna happen is that just like Brock Lesnar, where Brock Lesnar didn't have a good match in his first match with the UFC. I think what they're gonna do, they're gonna send someone in there to kind of put him over, like Randy Couture did with Brock Lesnar. When they put Randy Couture in there against Brock, I think they had him there just to make him look good, to have Couture kind of take a dive. I think that's what
Hmm.
they're going to do with CM Punk because he's still a draw. If you think about it, people do pay to watch him fight.
He
So
got in good shape for that match, though. I remember that he was
yeah, he got in
pretty
great shape.
damn toned, and his time in WWE, the guy, I've never seen him like in that shape in WWE.
You know how much he weighed for that fight? He fought at 170
Uh,
pounds. He weighed in that fight
he
around
even
100.
had a six pack, I think.
Yeah, he weighed 100. He was 100. It was a 170 pound fight. So he rehydrated to like 185 pounds. So he's probably coming in under 200. So when he was in WWE, he was probably weighed a little bit over 200 pounds, a little bit over that. So he wasn't quite as big. So he was in great shape. We'll see what happens here with Dana White. I
Speaking
think,
of UFC, well, finish your thought. Finish your thought.
yeah, I just think that, yeah, my thought is that he's not coming back to WWE. I don't think he wants to.
Well, yeah, eventually. It'll take
Eventually,
more
he will.
time. I mean, remember Bret Hart.
Yeah,
Hopefully CM Punk doesn't get an injury like that'll prevent him from actually wrestling, but
yeah.
in about another 10 years. But I see that door being back open maybe once
Well,
more time
or
passes.
they could do. It's funny because Bret Hart, Brock Lesnar once said too that he was done with pro wrestling. He'll never come back to it, and look what happened. He eventually came back. So never
And
say
it took
never.
him short. It took him a shorter time to come back than it did a guy like Brett who had horrible bad blood with the company. I mean, talk about bad blood. And CM Punk is similar. I mean, there's a lawsuit going on. He talked shit about them and their doctor in a candid podcast interview, which I'm sure you've heard, and I'm sure
Yep.
fans have heard. I've listened to that thing multiple times, and I don't know whether to believe everything on there that he's saying or not. But it's just a lot, and unfortunately, with the people who are in command of the company it'll probably stay that way, and they have a mutual dislike for each other.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, man. I mean, like I said, it's a good point you brought up. Is like, who do you believe? But what I've heard, management. I mean, like Stephanie and what's his name and Hunter, they didn't really appreciate those comments that he brought out about their medical staff and how serious WWE care about their wrestlers. When he came out, this is on the Colt Cabana podcast because him and Colt Cabana are good friends. And by
Oh
the way,
yeah.
Colt Cabana is another guy who's blacklisted by the WWE. By the way, so with Colt Cabana, when he was on his podcast, he said, "Look, they knew I was so severely injured to the point that they didn't care. They want me back in the ring while I haven't fully recovered from an injury." You
Uh-huh.
know, so
Uh-huh.
it's like when I go to a doctor, right? I get an opinion for this particular doctor. Then all of a sudden they send their doctor to rebuttal, my doctor's other opinion, such and such. They say, okay, you're medically cleared to go back in the ring. What?
Yeah,
You know?
exactly. What
So it
what are
seems
they talking about?
right. So it's like, it's very I don't know. It's very, very strange how they do things, with that company. I mean, so ever since he aired
Hmm.
out their dirty laundry, it's kind of been bad. It's been it's been bad blood, as you say, man. It's been, it's to that point, like you said with Bret Hart. It's like, it's gonna take a long time for them to heal their
It'll
wounds.
happen. It'll happen.
Yeah, I mean, you look, man,
It'll happen.
it
There's
will, it
too
will.
much money. There's too much money on the table for it not to.
Right.
Now, I think Hogan's closer than Punk. Hogan, I think
Hogan,
he's closer.
you think
He's
he's
not
close?
there yet, but closer to getting back in there.
Well, I think he is. I think yeah. I think Hogan is a little bit more close. You see, Hogan's situation is not as bad as CM Punk. Let's be honest.
Well, yeah, he doesn't have. I mean, I think him and Vince have a good relationship still. I really do.
Yeah. Well, they do. They do. Yeah. I mean, but yeah, man. Punk. I mean, I'd love to see Punk come back, man. But obviously, I don't think it's gonna happen anytime soon. You and I both know that that's not gonna be the case.
No, and
But
it's always intriguing to think about every year once
but
Royal
yeah.
Rumble and WrestleMania come around.
But I'll tell you one thing: if he does come back, it will be a situation that you didn't think it would happen. Kind of like how they did with Brock Lesnar. With Brock Lesnar, uh, you know, well,
Oh
actually,
yeah,
when he
yeah.
how they handled that situation. So yeah, it'd probably be
It'll be
similar to
fresh.
that,
It'll be
huh?
fresh. It'll be fresh.
Yeah,
It will.
I agree. I agree. I agree.
Speaking of UFC, Ronda Rousey's been training in the WWE Performance Center. I don't know if you heard about this one.
Yeah,
She's getting ready to debut. Pretty serious. So what do you think? Is it a good fit?
I think it'd be a good fit. But the question is where is she gonna debut? When she gonna debut? What brand she's gonna go on? Is she gonna? Oh, she
Yeah.
gonna go to Raw. No question about it. They're gonna get
Well,
her. She's gonna be on
that's been the
Raw.
question since she appeared in WrestleMania and hasn't done anything since.
Well, she's actually done a few programs with the NXT group. So
Oh yeah.
I
Well,
don't know.
she didn't wrestle, did she? She just kind of appeared.
Yeah, she's appeared on a couple episodes. So she hasn't wrestled. So it'd be interesting to see what they're gonna do with her. I mean, obviously she's gonna be a monster. They're gonna build her up as a monster, kind of like Asuka. That'd be a good match, her versus Asuka. Both submission specialists. You know,
Hmm.
but I have a feeling that.
I don't know how far she is in her training to actually work a match right now. But
Well, yeah, because Asuka is far more experienced, so that would definitely be. I don't think you're ready to go
now,
up again.
taking away the male and female factor, who's been catching on better? Would you say Nakamura or Asuka?
I say Asuka.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean Nakamura. Yeah, he's had his moments there, but it seems like they're at a point right now with him is that they're going to marginalize him. I don't think they're going to give him a big push again. It is sad though because he deserves it. I know his
Oh
matches
yeah.
has. I know his matches hasn't been quite as stellar. Sometimes it depends who you work with, but at the same time, I think he's still over enough to get a big push, and it's not going to
I don't
happen
know.
with.
I don't. I for some reason I don't really care about seeing the belts on the guy as much as I'd like to see him in a interesting match where he can actually show what he has. I know he's got a
Right.
lot that he's holding back, and maybe
I mean,
Styles
look,
Nakamura at a big stage like WrestleMania can be the equal of an Omega Jericho kind of thing.
yeah, it could be, but the thing about Nakamura, the only reason he came to WWE is because Daniel Bryan. He wanted to wrestle him. That's what the match he really wanted to do. He wanted to work with Daniel Bryan. So hopefully, if Daniel Bryan does come back, they can do a program together. But I don't know, man. I just think that he still deserves a push either way. I
Oh
know.
yeah,
I think he deserves to have a title.
he's unique. He's unique.
Oh, absolutely. Definitely a unique individual, So,
He's unique.
yeah, yeah, man. Yeah, we'll see.
All right, man. Any closing arguments?
Well, I mean, all I can say is this is a very good show. We went over
We
everything.
went over so much,
Yeah, we did, man. I mean, it
and
was a
it's
great
still not
show.
everything.
Oh, sorry.
It's still not everything.
Yeah, still not everything, but we went over a lot of things. So definitely a lot more news and updates to come. We're just it was great to have you on again as always. It's a pleasure. We'll in the
Oh yeah,
meantime we're
yeah.
definitely going to
Great
keep
to be
our
on.
audience updated on the Jim Johnston situation.
Oh
See
yeah.
where see how that develops and Definitely on the John Cena lawsuit, the Ford lawsuit. Definitely going to keep you posted on that right
Oh
there.
yeah, yeah. That's an interesting one to keep posted on. And guys, don't forget to subscribe to our channel. We're gonna advertise it. We work too damn hard for you not to listen. And check out the bonus shows. Myself and even Daniel sometimes do bonus shows on our own.
Yes, sir, indeed. Yes, sir. So we'll be doing a lot of uploads as well. We're going to be doing some weekly uploads individually from us, and then, of course, we'll definitely do our weekly podcasts, which will be on Thursday
And we
nights
are we
over.
are taking applications for a third co-host.
Absolutely. So if you're interested, just let me know. Let us know, and then we'll contact you. And
Now,
so,
what podcast do you guys listen to where you can say you've been offered something like that?
I'm sorry.
What podcasts have you listeners listened to where you could say you've been offered an opportunity to
That's a
to be a third co-host?
that's a good question. This is your opportunity
Yeah.
right now. So if you want to, if you're interested, just reach out to us, and then we'll go from there. And if you think you're liable enough, if you think you're up to the task, we'll may consider you. So all you have to do is just hit us up with a private message, or if you go ahead and leave a comment in the video below, that's fine as well, and then we'll go from there. So
And if none of that works, just call our 1-800 call our 1-900 number.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. So with that and
All right.
all, I would like to thank my co-host Elias as always, brother. Thank you very much for co-hosting
Thank
this
you,
up.
sir. It was a pleasure. It was a
And
pleasure.
yeah, absolutely. This is our fourth episode. More to come. So this is the Beyond the Kayfabe radio. Excuse me, not radio. The Beyond the Kayfabe YouTube live stream podcast with your other
Free
co-host,
for all.
Free for All. That's right, Dan the Man Boxing. So we are out. You guys have a good night. Have a good weekend. We will see you next week.
See you
Peace.
next week, guys.